All right, hello everyone, and we're back. Welcome back. Paul Trani here with Jess Telmanik. Day 2. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am so happy to be here. Thank you for everyone that's joining and joined us yesterday too.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thankful to have you back. This is going to be good. We did a little. What did we work in yesterday? Just kind of. I don't know if you could do a little recap.
So yesterday we worked in Adobe Fresco, and we did a positive doodle around the quote, "Everyone is creative." So with the help of the chat, I did a few illustrations that, illustrated how everyone is creative, whether that's cooking, gardening, baking, it's an endless list. So I did a illustration during our time, and I liked how it turned out, but I'll completely be honest, I did not give myself enough time, which I think a lot of us creatives do that often, because we kind of get in there and I'm like, oh, that would look better. That would look better. So I really loved how it turned out, but I did end up going back and doing a few, I changed it a bit afterwards, but kept the base core of it. And you can actually see that on my Behance portfolio.
All right. Speaking of which, I'm actually just sharing that right now, and you can get to that through the info tab, just so you know. So yeah, so it looks like it's in here. It's looking great. Everyone is creative. Oh, I see what you've added.
If you scroll down to the bottom. So we have that. That's where we left off yesterday. And then if you keep scrolling, there's a second. So that's where I finally went, okay, we're going to stop here. We could keep going, but we're going to stop here. So yeah, we had, to represent music and DJing and crocheting and sewing and art and bartending, because seriously, if anybody's ever made a craft cocktail with 20 ingredients before, it is a work of art.
Yeah, that sounds intense. I'm into it though. So feel free to welcome Jess. Good to see you here, Stephen and Ferry and Jay and Jack. Hopefully you joined us yesterday. It's fun seeing the evolution of this.
Thank you.
And also kind of where it currently ended up. Like, I could easily see how this could be a piece that you could just keep on working on forever.
Oh,
and it's a good theme to continually evolve and, make it just takes different shapes and forms.
Because everyone is creative.
Yeah, into it. I like this little texture you put in here. Like, there's a little bit of...
Thank you. So that... most of this was done, the background was done using the live watercolor brushes in Adobe Fresco, but then I used some of the pixel mixer brushes as well. And I really kind of stuck with the pastel brush, and I made the brush like 1,000 pixels wide and just did like a light brushing over it, because everything else kind of had that texture to it.
Yeah.
And the lettering was just a little bit too stark in contrast to it.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that. No, I'm into it. Looks great. So feel free, hit the info tab, appreciate her work, follow her, stalk her on all of her social medias.
Say hi. I got a couple messages from people, and it warmed my heart. Thank you, everybody. This has been really cool.
Oh, good. Well, and I'm glad we have you for day 2. I'm going to switch over to your screen right now.
With the blank slate again.
Yeah, what are you in right now?
So today we're going to play in Photoshop on the iPad, which I gotta say, I have been absolutely loving Photoshop on the iPad. I do a decent amount of photo editing for clients, and I find it just so much easier and quicker, especially now that we have cloud documents. So I can have a file I'm working on my desktop and then literally pick up my iPad, open it up, use my Apple Pencil, which I feel for me and my creative flow, it's so much easier for me to, zoom in on something and start doing some details. So for today, I'm doing another positive doodle. This is just kind of my thing. This is how I've dealt with anxiety in my life because it's a real thing that's always kind of been there. And today we're doing this in Photoshop. So I'm actually going to start off. I'll show you guys. I already have my photo downloaded. I got this from Adobe Stock, which actually I can show you guys that real quick if it lets me swipe over. There we go. Adobe has beautiful, beautiful photos. I'm actually kind of partial to this photographer personally. He's new. He's kind of a novice, but he doesn't realize he has some stunning, beautiful photos that show up. And I just want to incorporate one of his pieces of work. And I ended up going with this shot here because, so my doodle today is going to be superheroes come in all sizes. And my reason for that is, I don't know if anybody's aware, September is National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I've volunteered with kids with cancer for over 7 years now. And some of the toughest, strongest, amazing souls I've ever met are kids battling pediatric cancer. So my doodle today is going to be in honor of all the kids that have inspired me with their strength. And that's why superheroes come in all sizes. You don't have to be Superman and all buff or, we all have our superpowers. So
mine's naps. That's my superpower.
Oh, that is one of my favorite superpowers that doesn't always work. I do love naps. My superpower, I think, is just being me, and that's a pretty entertaining thing. I think at least I'm never bored. So for this, since I really wanted to incorporate and use a stock photo, I really liked this photo by Miguel because it's that breaking of the dawn. It's a new day, and just like all of us, we're here starting a new month in a crazy year. So this is our background. And I'm kind of going to dive in and I'm curious, for the chat, how many people have played around with Photoshop on the iPad so far?
Yeah, feel free to chime in if anybody has had some experimenting with Photoshop on the iPad. Which I find some things are super easy because anything using the Apple Pencil, it's easier. It's so lovely. Selecting.
I do have to say hi to Viola. I'm not sure if you joined us yesterday. She just said her superpower is killing plants. You are in good company right here. Paul has a great plastic collection, and I have killed lucky bamboo. So we understand.
We do understand.
Right. So I'm going to start off. I'm going to do some hand lettering. Depending on the time, I'm going to do some, quick illustrations that kind of complement this. But I'm just going to dive in here. And as you can see, I have a hard time. I don't know if anybody else is like this. I have a hard time drawing on the iPad with it perfectly straight. So I hope that doesn't bother anybody, but that's why I kind of do that angle. And I'm going to come over here. If you were with us yesterday, Fresco has a bunch of different brush options. For Photoshop, these are our choices, which honestly, that's what you need. Those cover everything you want. I am going to start off with the hard round brush and select that. Now, if you go down on the lower left hand, this is where you have your color picker. And we're going to start with a white for that. And right below the color picker and your color palette options, you also have the option to adjust your brush size. So you can make it bigger than the actual canvas, as well as you can adjust your opacity and the hardness of your crisp line, or if it's going to be a softened brush. And I want this opacity up, I want hardness all the way up, because I don't know, I might do some masks over this lettering. We shall see. And anyone that's joining, please doodle along with me. Like, even if you don't have an iPad, even if you're not, you don't consider yourself creative, everyone is creative, just grab some scratch paper, and a pen. And I think it's really good for the soul.
Into it. Yeah, so Rachel does mention, I guess so Rachel hasn't heard great things about Photoshop on the iPad, which, if that's the case, that's fine. Two things there. It's doing, according to reviews, it's doing quite well, and it wasn't always the case. It's basically we're trying to take 30 years worth of an app and jam it onto the iPad. So this stuff will take time, and it will only get better. I think it's a companion app to Photoshop on the desktop. If you could do it all on the iPad, go for it. But it's smart objects aren't really they aren't linked. For instance, that's one thing I would like, to be honest with you.
And you know what?
Yeah,
and I completely agree. I've done app development. I cannot imagine what the Adobe developers are dealing with trying to take a 30-year-old program and put it on an iPad. So I think from that standpoint, I've liked what they've done, but I can see how some people, after years of using Photoshop, would look at it and be like, no, this is what. And I think it is great, and it's a great compliment, and I love that ability to go back and forth easily from desktop and iPad.
Yeah, exactly. And also, honestly, I could have used this. I wanted this 5 years ago. Wanted this honestly, iPads weren't even fast enough, because this is actually the actual, Photoshop code base on the iPad, which is, it wouldn't be able to handle it years ago. So.
No, this was the starting point where finally an iPad could handle something like this. So also, I just want to say that we're going to start off strong with the undo button, because I just drew all of that on my initial layer, which I did not want to do. So attempt number 2.
You do your thing. Thank you that's a great question, though, because I'm like, hey, you think this is cool? Tell me why. Honestly, you don't have to. You don't even have to like Photoshop on the iPad, and that's totally fine too. It's totally fine. I appreciate everybody's opinions.
I do too. I mean, that's what makes humans all so delightful. We're all very different, and we all like different things, and we all have different methods, and it's part of what makes us all special. Yes, I love it.
So that's what I would suggest for anybody, because some people think of getting drawing tablets. You can go that route if you want to. I think, iPad has a lot of flexibility for other things,
I actually,
watching
and that's
movies, just watching movies on it.
It's a great backup TV.
You could watch a Netflix movie and have it in the corner and then still draw, and that's my favorite thing.
That's usually so all my more detailed illustrations that have taken, 10, 20 hours to do, I'm doing that the whole time, watching Netflix or Hulu or something in the small screen.
Yeah, right.
And it works, and I can do it anywhere. So, going layering.
Yes.
Yes.
Theory, you mentioned a good question about making your iPad a tablet. You could use Sidecar, by the way, with an iPad, yes, and that will extend your desktop. You could have Photoshop on that if you want to. But so that kind of turns it into a tablet.
It has to be at least a 2015 computer.
You realize that?
Yes, I learned that the disappointing way, actually, when they released the latest OS. I was like, man, right there at that cutoff. I have used, that's what I was going to say earlier. I'm kind of late to this style of drawing, because I tried to use the tablets back in the day. And I have so much respect for people that can sit and draw, but looking at a screen and looking down here. That was not a superpower I got at all.
Yeah, same here. I missed that whole phase too.
Yeah, I had a few people go, oh, you do this and this. And I'm like, my coordination does not, that's like my coordination with sports. That's not happening.
Terry Lynn, like, are you saying an iPad Pro is better than a Wacom drawing tablet? I personally would love to have a 24-inch Wacom, huge Cintiq cinema display, something awesome. Like, that would be awesome. Like, so whatever you want to do, guys. Whatever you want to do. I don't know. It's all personal preference. I would just love an even bigger screen, and that's what the Cintiqs have. Is they're big.
I've seen some of those, and I'm like, yes, please. That's how I felt yesterday. I'm like, I need a much bigger screen today.
Right.
So Cody Bear is saying she loves her Wacom. I love your work, Cody Bear. So I take that as a full endorsement. All right. So we're going to get our superheroes in here. I will say, everybody, I had something a bit more crazy today, but yesterday was such a lesson for me in my first live streaming. And I realized I didn't want to leave you guys with half a piece of work today. Which, even though I finished it, I still felt like it wasn't finished enough by our end.
No, I think it turned out great.
Thank you.
I think it's awesome.
Apparently my thing today is I'm just going to do random extra lines that I don't want there. But that's okay. So I have my lovely undo button.
I'm trying to follow along. Wish me luck.
I'm going to have you doodling positivity all over the place by the end of our sessions. It's just... There's so many things that happen in life, and we all have our stress. So it's good to have something that you can step away from that with. So I just did my superheroes, and I'm going to separate my lettering today because I don't know what I'm going to want to move around. And I want to save myself some time. So I go over to the right, hit the plus sign, new layer. We're going to do sizes now.
Yeah, Terry, I agree. Terry says they have a lot of respect for the tablet drawers as well.
So much.
Yeah, I wish I could do it too. I'm a mouse jockey. That's probably what they call me.
But I think that's impressive too in itself, you know? All right. Let's say, Paul, we never saw your doodle from yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't really make any. I can share doodles with you, but it's all top secret stuff.
All top secret? Okay. Well, you know how to ask, how to find out at least.
I'll see if I can sneak something for you. Take a look.
Sorry, I had a little dot there I didn't want there. All right. So, and I'm just, for anybody just joining in, I'm just using the hard round brush and laying out my letters. And I gotta be honest, if nobody was watching, I'd be like hardcore perfectionist right now. And probably measuring in and undoing 500 times. But I want everybody that's, you know, not used to this kind of creating to realize things don't have to be perfect. Plus, we're such hard critics as creatives, I feel. That's one thing I've noticed in all the Adobe Lives. Every person, they're typically their harshest critic when they create. When in reality, most people look at it and they're like, oh my God, that's perfect.
Yeah, and that's a good sign, which just shows that you could do better, and that's pretty awesome. That's a pretty awesome revelation.
Yeah, but I think it's like we see the little flaws. We look at something and we're like, oh, I should have done that, and oh, that should be better. And in reality, everybody's like, whoa, you made magic.
Yeah. So you guys obviously get whatever you want. Another thing that's exciting that's coming to the iPad is Illustrator on the iPad. Just FYI, as people are kind of thinking about all these platforms. There's no ETA on that or anything, but we announced it at Max last year, and that's all we can say. So see how it goes.
Actually, if you go to my Behance portfolio, you will see my version of if I was a superhero, I'd have rainbow makeup and a unicorn headband. That was actually created 100% in Adobe Illustrator on the iPad.
Nice.
I love that. Oh, by all means. That was the most complex piece I had ever created in Illustrator.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, it turned out great. That's super fun.
Thank you. There's
gradients and everything.
Yeah, nice. Lots of gradients in that one. But I had so much fun creating it. And hey, thanks for that like. But this was one I really wanted. That's why I showed, the different stages of it, because it really did evolve from the starting point to the ending point where it was just overwhelming. And that was one of those things I made where I kind of went back and I'm like, wow, how did I do that? I just did it, but how did I do it?
That's awesome.
So anybody that's thinking about an iPad, and Adobe has some amazing things.
Can I show my illustration that I was working on yesterday?
Yeah.
Unrelated, because I was working on this on the.
I love that.
Well, I'm having a problem with the composition, but I think what people have had, you've probably had a lot of fun with this. The fact that you have the repeat. This is the radio repeat, which is just like 2 lines, and you're like.
You can do so many things with that. Actually, what I want to do is I haven't gotten to that point. It's kind of like on my creative to-do list, but I want to play around with making some mandalas. I think that would be perfect for that. And I think you could probably do some ones that are kind of outside the normal box of mandalas.
Yeah, you can. I think I noticed that things start to slow down just because at the end of the day, it's still a computer that's dealing with all these vectors.
Yes.
So that's one thing I've noticed, but you can have a radio repeat inside of a pattern repeat inside of another radio repeat. Like it can, so to your point, you can get a whole nother level of detail.
It's like creative inception. It's a radio dial.
Yeah, I love it. Super fun.
All right, so let's deselect. So I'm just, go ahead.
Oh, no, you tell me.
I was gonna say, I'm just trying to, I'm just kind of rearranging things, trying to figure out like how I'm gonna play this out. And then I think I'm gonna put my remaining text between those words. This is one of the things I said yesterday. I have a tendency to kind of jump around when I create. I love the people that, do portraits and everything from the start, and they just kind of start at like the top of their art and just kind of keep going all the way down until it's, it literally looks like a video screen is going down and revealing their art as they create.
That's pretty wild. Yeah,
mine kind of just goes in whatever order my brain goes.
I will say that for some of those things, some of those videos that you see, you don't really know what went on with the preparation of that.
True.
If there's a sketch ahead of time, people just kind of see the end result of this. But I think most people have practiced that a number of times before the live video, or they edited it, or they have a sketch. Like, I think there's more that goes on to some of those videos than we realize.
I do agree.
That's kind of what I think. I think I've seen the trick of here's a trick for you. Okay, you ready for tricks?
Oh yeah.
If you wanted to do a video, you could, because I feel like I've seen this done. It looks like there's not a sketch there.
Okay.
But there actually is. It just means they've blown it out to where you can't see the sketch, so it's like a little bright. Does that make sense? So
yes. Okay.
They've blown it out, so it looks like it kind of comes to life, but I think there's like a sketch under there that I've seen. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's not even a trick. It's just...
It's all magic.
There are no rules when you're creating something. There are no rules.
Nope.
There are no wrong ways of doing things.
I think that's why I like art, because I can be like, well, it might not be right, but this is how I'm doing it. It makes me happy. So here we are.
Yeah, there are no rules. Like, are you happy? Are the clients happy?
That's all that matters.
You know?
All right, we're going to move you up somewhere. Maybe make you smaller.
Stephen Booth, just so you know, Illustrator for the iPad, you could probably do a search online and submit to the Illustrator for iPad beta.
I believe it's still there because I accidentally signed up for it again. One day I was trying to see if there was an update on release or anything. And then I got another email and I went, oh, hi. I love being part of Adobe's pre-release programs. It's pretty cool. All right, so once again, still just trying to figure out my composition. So part of what I want to illustrate is there are two little superheroes I specifically know, and they've just had a big impact on my life. So I'm kind of doing like illustrations, two little kids, superheroes, because National Cancer Awareness Month for children. And I want to kind of block everything out first. That way I can go back and do everything. So this time I'm actually using the brush pen, which I'm realizing might have been a little bit better to use for my lettering, but here we are. So we're just working with it. Sorry, my screen keeps bouncing around, guys. And my more detailed illustrations that I've started doing of people would take very, very long. So I'm going to do more like I would do if I was illustrating children's books, which is one of my, life goals. I want to do a bunch of kids' books. Because also I think it'd just be really fun to have that be how I spend my days. What did you do today, Jess? I worked on a book reminding people to be kind.
That's cool. I don't know if you know of Kyle Webster's book.
I recently saw that. I actually want to get that for my nephew, which I do have to say, hi, Caden, if you're watching. He's 3 years old. He was watching yesterday and trying to talk to the TV.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, Kyle's book is beautiful. I completely missed that till recently.
Yeah.
And came across it.
Yeah.
He's such a, I also really appreciate about him is he has so many different styles. I love people that have set styles, and I wish I sometimes could be that way, but I like experimenting with different stuff and I like bouncing all over the place creatively.
Yeah. Yes, sir, it is. I like his work, but yeah, his book is Please Say Please. And by the way, there is nothing stopping anybody from making a children's book, because you could self-publish, but keep in mind, like, it's still like, if you're doing it because you want to get paid, like, that might be another story.
Yeah, I feel like in life a lot that doesn't work. Actually, what I was thinking about doing is applying for the Adobe, the Adobe Creative Residency Fund.
Yes.
I just need to put something together and kind of do some sketches, but I was thinking about applying for that.
Yeah, so thank you so much for bringing that up. Adobe Creative Residency Community Fund. So it's basically our chance. We've actually put together a $1 million community fund to provide resources for creatives who are impacted by COVID and everything. So yeah, I'll post that link right now real fast.
Definitely do. I did apply for the their normal creative residency about 3-4 years ago. Alas, I did not get selected, but ironically, the whole what everything in my proposal evolved around was everyone is creative. So
that's cool.
Didn't get it then, but managed to get my way where I could still tell everybody that.
Nice.
Adobe actually has a lot. I didn't realize how many programs Adobe has in supporting, because I think there's some for school too. Like, I'm actually kind of blown away what Adobe does for the creative community.
Yeah, we've had something for students. I don't really like the interesting thing is that's like a different part of Adobe that I don't really
completely
know the full deal about. But yes, I wish I knew. We hear about it at Max once a year, I feel. And it's like, hey, we've sponsored all these kids. I'm like, what? We did? That's cool.
Cool, yes. I mean, it's a big company. There's so much involved with it that I easily understand, like, just when you go into one segment, like what people do with illustrating or what people do with video, or, I mean, there's also their content managing stuff. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
All right, so came back over. I'm back on my hard round brush. I am going to start laying out some shapes because I think I'm going to do a mask again and try and do some of that shading. And I'm sure she'll watch at some point, but Avery Bug, this one's for you. She's probably one of the best souls I've ever met in my life. And she's 10 years old and cancer survivor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So when I thought about this, I'm like, we're going to do a little quick illustration of her. And she just started school yesterday. Actually, all the parents that have kids, I salute you. It has to be a crazy year.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't imagine. I don't even know what's going on with kids these days. What's up with those kids? Are they at home or are they at school? Are they half here, half there? I don't know. It's like different per region, but
yeah, I think it's kind of like all over the place for quite a few of them. But all those homeschooling parents, like, I salute you.
Yeah. For sure. My sister's a middle school teacher, so she actually has to go in, but she does everything currently by Zoom, at least for now.
That's good.
Everything's all a Zoom meeting, but I need to connect with her. So yeah, that's been going. It's been probably 2 weeks now.
All right. That's right. Sorry. Sometimes I start to zone out. I did that yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's right. There's people watching me. There's people here with me today.
You're good. We got a little background music. So
nice.
You're just chilling.
Good.
It's all good.
Just doodling away. I am curious. What's everybody working on? Like in the chat. Are you working on client work right now? Are you just here to say hi? Do you have like a passion project you're working on? Because passion projects are the best.
Yeah, I would love to hear what people are working on. Now's your chance. A shout out for yourself. You got to be your own promoter. Promote yourself. Be like, I'm doing this and it's awesome.
Literally, show us what you're working on. Share your portfolio. I actually, when the live stream ended yesterday, I did take the time and I went back through the chat before like it reset. And, I looked at everything everybody said and it was really cool. So if you have artwork, share it with us.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. And by the way, that's a good chance to just talk about the Daily Creative Challenge today, which we will be reviewing. So I'll just share my screen while you work on that. Sorry.
Perfect.
You're currently not on the screen, so you're okay.
That's okay. It doesn't have to be all about me.
But today is all about working with vector and raster both in Photoshop. So get the starter files and then upload to Discord. And in an hour, we will review whatever gets posted to Discord. Looks like we already have some cool stuff posted. Awesome. So get that done. That's one way for you to get your work out there, and for us to kind of just give you kudos and for you to get better, just like we're trying to get better.
We are all trying to get better. I liked your Harry Potter style passport you have going on. Oh yeah.
That's a.
I love Harry Potter, so I'm like, yeah, nice. Perfect.
I think there's lots of Harry Potter fans out there. I'm not even a huge Harry Potter fan. I'm like, I didn't read the books. I don't really know everything I should know. All I know is I think I'm Hufflepuff.
Okay.
That's the. Have you done any of those personality tests?
Yes, I have. I'm pretty sure I'm Hufflepuff as well.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
You're like, yeah, let's all get along. Let's have some fun.
Yes, that's completely me. I'm like, oh, it's okay. Like, it's all right. We'll be fine.
All right. Yeah, okay. I'll be Slytherin if you're Slytherin. Okay.
But you just have to be nice to people. Yeah, you just have to be nice, and it's all fine.
Yay, Cody Bear's Hufflepuff too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Hufflepuff, Slytherin, Ravenclaw. Is that one?
Slytherin, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff. Oh, my cousin's gonna be so mad at me.
Oh, a lot of artists are Hufflepuffs. Huh.
That makes sense. What's the fourth one?
I wish I was like Ravenclaw, because that just sounds cool. Like, if you're gonna pick one, you don't want to pick Hufflepuff.
It doesn't sound tough.
It's not the toughest, but they're my people.
Right? I'm still trying to think of the fourth one, though. If there is a Harry Potter fan, please tell me what the fourth one is.
Yeah, we're dying here.
All right, I got a nice little outline started here. Some more hair behind her.
Oh, Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. Oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble later with my cousin. She's going to be very disappointed I didn't remember that. Oops. All right. I'm going to put here. So I just realized I wanted to do like a back layer so her hair is behind there darker. I like using layers because then if anything, I merge them later on. It allows me to do shading easier. So I'm just, to move a layer in Photoshop, you literally just click on the layer, do a hard press, and you can drag it in your order. So I wanted to move that back there. That way I can just do this really quick. Have that back part all cut off. I want to fix this a little bit. Come over here, get my eyedrop tool. Hold my last color. Just do this a little bit. All right, so starting to get an illustration going on.
Love it.
And now we're gonna do my other one here. We're gonna put him in front. This is a shout out to Aiden. Aiden Strong. He's an incredible little kid that's on his 4th round. So always be kind to people. You never know what's going on in their lives.
For sure.
All right. I really want to draw a Lego man on his shirt because he loves Legos. But I'm not sure if I should be drawing Legos on Adobe Live for copyright purposes. Oh, and okay, so Julia Telmanik, surprise relation, just said my keyboard wouldn't pull up to respond. Fix it, a Gryffindor, the one that's most common that you couldn't remember.
The one that's most common?
It is. It actually is, because you know what? Harry Potter is a Gryffindor.
Oh.
So I'm going to be in trouble for a while, guys. And Beulah, she said, I love that to Aiden, and thank you. Love my little superheroes. All right. So I'm going to go in here. And we're just going to... I realized when I started first illustrating that I kind of was sticking in a style that I always felt familiar with. We're not going to do a ton of details on these faces or anything. This is kind of back in the day, I used to do kind of just representations of people. I think some illustrators have such a solid style with that, and I'm still trying to find mine. But just using a hard round brush because I want nice, clean, solid lines. And I am, once again, I'm doing different layers. That way I can do shading quickly on them. So it doesn't look like it because they're right on top of each other, but got a few layers going on the right.
Yeah.
You know what?
Quite a few.
Kind of did a little bit of a blue for her shirt. I'm realizing my colors are kind of going together here nicely today.
Mm-hmm.
Complementing the photo, so I kind of want to keep in that arena. Do.
Terry, to answer your question about if you're drawing an architectural rendering on paper versus digitally, obviously digitally is going to give you more exactness.
Yes.
So that's, if it's something architectural, yeah, go digital.
Yes. You can always stay true to your roots, but I mean, I don't know about anybody else. My eyesight doesn't zoom in that closely, so I feel like there's a lot more room for seeing things closer.
Yeah.
All right.
That's true. That's funny.
All right. So drawing in here. I do want to point this out. So just in case anybody, decides to get on the iPad and start drawing, I have problems sometimes getting it to rotate. So I end up with all those extra lines. Sorry about that. That's where those are coming from. I want to point this out, right? Just like every time you guys are seeing a random line, it's just me trying to rotate my screen.
I do that in like every app.
Right?
It's not just like Photoshop.
No, it's definitely not Photoshop. It's anything where I'm trying to rotate and it's drawing a line with me. Yeah. But I did want to point this out to anybody joining this live stream and not being familiar with Photoshop on iPad or using it a lot. Yesterday, I used the paint bucket tool a couple times to drop it in a vector-based shape. This is something that doesn't happen in Fresco if you're using the vector brush, but it can happen with pixel brushes. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I used it on iPad for a second, I was like, wait, what happened? And if you see, I have all these outlines, and it's just from my paintbrush, and it's not a big deal, and you didn't do anything wrong. You can just come in here really quickly. And now you have your solid color image.
Nice.
And it's all filled in. I did do it one time, and I'm like, what? I think it was one of those days that I really desperately needed sleep. And I sat there looking at it going, why is this doing this? Like, what am I doing wrong? And then I sat and looked at it for a second. I was like, oh, that's right. You know how this works. Okay. All right. So did a nice little outline for a little bit of hair. And I've kind of got my basic shapes now for this.
Welcome, Michelle. Hello, everybody. Just quick housekeeping here with Jess Telmanik. It's day 2, second illustration, working in Photoshop on the iPad. And yeah.
Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. We've talked about the Adobe Community Fund that we have, the Creative Residency Community Fund that you can apply for. Also, we have a daily creative challenge going on today as well, so we'll review those in 45 minutes.
I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I really have the time to follow along with them during the week and actually participate in them, but I usually tune in just to see what like everybody makes. I don't know. I find so much inspiration for it. And just for everybody watching, Aiden had a mohawk for a bit, so we're giving him a little bit of a mohawk here.
Yeah.
So, got my basic shapes. I'm going to get rid of these white lines behind. If I can find where I put them. Right there. We're going to get rid of those layers. So those are no longer in there. So I have my basic illustration. I'm feeling much better on time today. I'm feeling much better.
Yeah.
I think I can finish this today, you guys, and not like have to go back later. So
do it.
Yeah.
It's looking
right.
Great.
So I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna do very similar. I like doing my shading and I'm having that mental.
Yeah.
False.
I'll help you.
Yes, this thing. I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this thing because I want to go back in and put some shading in my layers. So I want to shade her shirt a little bit. Yesterday you saw a lot of like black and solid white to do my shading. Today I think we're not going to do that as much. So we're going to go back in here. And I just want to give this a little bit of depth.
Oh, Terry Wynn is so nice. Is Terry's inspired and loves seeing you do your thing. And thanks for keeping it fun and inspiring.
Thank you so much, Terry. All the kind words really mean a lot to me. I'm really glad you're here.
And also when it comes to like tips and stuff like that, like we update Photoshop on the iPad like probably once a month. So
yes.
If you looked at it a year ago, it's probably going to be a different app today. So just kind of keep that in mind. Not different, but it's just going to have more features.
It really has come quite a bit. All right, a little bit of that. So for doing these shadows, I'm just kind of adjusting the opacity a little bit. And I'm using that same color blue. Just give her a little bit of shading.
All right.
Yeah. There we go.
Looks good. I want to talk about minor superhero powers. Like
yes.
There's a movie on Netflix, and I'm not saying it's any good, but it's like Project Power.
Okay.
That's what it's called. It's like you take this pill and you have this superpower for 5 minutes. But
5 minutes?
I just like this whole idea of having a minor superpower. Like I would only be like a little bit taller for 5 minutes. I'd just be like a little bit taller. I don't know. Just like little. I don't know. That's just fun to think about.
Yeah, I want to continue.
Superpowers.
Yeah, what would, I'm trying, like, if it was only a 5-minute lapse, like, I'm trying to think of what I would want it to be. Maybe super confidence. I want to know what it feels like to have super confidence for 5 minutes. Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
Just to see what it feels like. As I say, there was a question in the chat I wanted to answer. It's jumping around on me. Yeah, somebody was asking, about how I kept it in there.
How do you select the layer so the shading is confined to the shape?
So that was the part where like my mind kind of had that blank. Let me do Aiden's t-shirt real quick. And so if you look on the right hand side of my screen at the very top, I have my layer, and that's where the yellow shirt is. I'm going to go to the plus sign to the right of that and create a new layer on top of it. Then I'm going to go down. If you look below the plus sign, the fourth symbol down has the little arrow in the box in it. I'm going to click that. And if you look now at my layer panel up at the top, right above that, the layer with the shirt, you can see that box is highlighted with the little arrow next to it. So that means everything that's going into this top box is going to stay confined into that shape, that layer below it. Paul can probably give you a more technical way to say it, but that's how I'm going with it.
No, that's awesome. And I know I disappeared from the screen, everybody, because I think my video was kind of covering up part of that. So Jess, you're on the screen right now. I'm just going to give you a second to be the only one here. You got it?
I think so. Unless they kick me out, unless there's a mutiny. But otherwise, I think I'm good.
Okay.
Let's check out the chat. And Paloma, Dora said, me too, Jess. Super confidence for 5 minutes sounds amazing. Right? I mean, I'm a good person. I got skills, but that super confidence, I'm kind of curious. But that's okay. That's just part of what makes me me. And I'm good with all that in life. So I'm gonna come back here and we're gonna do some shading on that. That's too bright of a yellow. I need to darken that a little bit. So see, when I do this now, it stays right in that layer. I didn't see Terry's response, but no. So Terry said, I know it sounds doofy, but this stuff is so inspiring. I'm primarily a painter, but I have so much respect for digital creatives I'm learning. Terry, I've come so far just in a couple of years with digital painting and creating, and you have that background. Everybody can figure it out. It's just putting the time in. And Nikki said that was perfect. Thanks, Nikki. You're welcome. I'm happy. Like, I've always done the thing with the layers personally because I'm not great at staying in the lines. Even when I was coloring as a kid, you know, I wasn't super fantastic. I'm not a stay in the lines kind of gal. I'm kind of like, oh, let's go over here. Let's do this. So I really love that ability to do the layers and kind of keep things in my shapes. And especially like with my more complex pieces, that's what's allowed me to like put layers upon layers and do the shading that kind of gives it that dimensional look. So try it out.
We do have some exciting things coming up for Photoshop on the iPad concerning brushes and things.
Yes.
And then concerning other parts of the app.
There really are, guys. Yeah, I was going to say I wasn't saying anything, but...
Yeah, I'm not saying anything either.
I'm not saying anything.
I would like to see some things coming in some of these areas.
I think people are going to be really excited. Like, yeah. All right, so, you know, we're doing some basic shading. This one, I feel like I probably will go back and I'll go like even some darker for shading, but I just want to make sure that today when we end this live stream, there's, you know, a nice illustration, kind of representative of all of the superheroes in our life.
Yeah. Now, I mean, it looks good with them not having any face detail, by the way. I don't know if they were going to it or like leave it alone.
I was debating leaving it alone and not doing any details, just doing a little bit of shading for the shapes of the face. Because I do kind of like that feel, that style. And I think we might, because I just want this to be bold. And I think if anything else we're going to add, maybe right at the end, is I think I do want to add one of the gold ribbons for cancer awareness somewhere in here. Cool. But I think this is where we're going to be at. Nikki Cousins said, I always forget to add the new layer and just get going, then realize way later. Nikki, I'm completely with you. I've hit the undo button a lot of times throughout my creative career, especially digitally. Like, I will go way, way, way back sometimes. We all do that. I did that right at the beginning of the stream. I drew my initial stuff right on the photo, and I didn't want to do that on my stock image.
Yeah. Yep. That's a thing.
It is. I feel like it's a normal thing we all kind of do.
That's why I like the layers panel. Is relatively, it's kind of large. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Like it could be minimalist. There's actually a different view that would make it smaller, but
there is. Actually, I can show that to everybody now, just so you can be more aware of it. So I always kind of stick with my layers where I can see them. That way I can quickly go through and be like, this is a simple illustration and I've already have that many layers going on. But you can also completely hide your layers by touching the upper right-hand corner where it looks like two squares on top of each other. And that will make it viewable or not. And then this is, I feel like, the more traditional Photoshop layer. Like this is where you can actually name everything and look at it. And this is what it looks like more on the desktop, which I like. And sometimes I take the time to layer or name all my layers. Other times, not so much. Depends on what I'm working on, I feel. And then also we do have an option over here where we have our layer properties. So actually, we'll show this real quick. I'm going to go back down here and select one of the layers that my lettering is on.
Yeah, do your thing.
And you can actually do your different, well, all white wasn't a good choice, but you have your different blend modes for your screen, and you can adjust your opacity for the layer if you look at the superheroes portion. So it can kind of become an overlay instead of anything else. We have more things coming soon, and I can't wait to see them. But yeah, that's how we can kind of adjust some of those things. So come back to my layers. And I'll do some more shading. Some quick little, and also for these for these shadings, I've been using the soft round brush just because I don't want for the shading to have like the harsh lines. Fairy Udomo said when she makes it, it looks amazing, but when I make it by myself in Photoshop, it always looks bad in my eyes. I don't know why. Fairy, that's the thing I was talking about. We're always like our harshest critics. I bet you is way better than you're giving yourself credit for. Keep doing it. I do the same thing though often when I'm creating. I'm like, ooh, eh.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. Things got to get ugly before they get better, I think. And
yeah,
that's okay.
It's part of like the evolution.
If you're joining us over on YouTube, feel free to hop over to Behance. Feel free, guys, if you have any questions or anything, would love to tell you all about Harry Potter. No, I don't know. Whatever Harry Potter questions you might have, I will Google it right here in front of me and then act like I knew it all along.
Yeah, we have Julia Telmanik now. Her keyboards aren't working. We're good. Ask away. Yeah. So doing some shading. Probably should do some more. Don't feel like that's popping enough. We might go with a darker color. Yeah. See, when I say making faces and all that, I'm doing that right now. I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, some things, like, I think it's okay when, like, because I'll overwork things.
Yes.
And you know how you, like, maybe work on it and you overwork it and then you start editing. That editing phase is, like, pretty important.
Right.
You know, because what I would start doing here is like, oh, I'll draw some faces because you feel the need to do that, but they don't need it. Just like Cody Bear mentioned, like, I agree. Like, it doesn't need it.
Yes, thank you to Cody Bear.
It's so much more minimalist and interesting.
Yeah. Thank you. I agree. We're not doing faces. I think it helps with that, with all of this. So, yep, just coming over here. And I'm doing the same thing for all these illustration layers. I'm coming over, doing a new layer on top of what I want to keep contained. And then I'm going back and adding that detail so it stays in that shape. Kind of reminds me almost of like old school cardboard kind of animation cutouts. A little bit. Has a little bit of that depth to it.
Yeah. I like it. So yeah, no word on when Illustrator for iPad's going to come out. We don't know yet. And that's the honest truth. Like, we just don't know.
Hopefully soon.
Yeah, like if we told you, like it's a whole thing. Like it's just
yeah,
it's like we just don't know. Like we don't know. Like we're working on it. Like
it's so much.
I don't know. It's just so hard to. I would love to tell you the exact date, but we just don't know because we're still working on it.
Yeah, so much goes into app development. I mean, coding. I have so much respect for people that code. I do. That stuff just was not. That was not meant to be my life calling.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely respect people that can do it. I don't know how they do it.
Right? So one thing I want to point out about this and drawing this way, so I have, my mask over it. I keep my original shape. Oops. So I'm coming back down here and I have the layer of his face and I just realized how I didn't really like how that's shaped. I can just erase and smooth out what I want to smooth out without affecting any of the shading. And that for me is a big thing. Like I kind of want to come here and do a little bit more with his hair.
Yeah.
And just kind of reshape that for his little mohawk. And
coding is like the exact opposite of like
it is
art and design.
But it's such a creative thing. But you use such a different part of your brain. My brain did not like that part. But it gave me a deep respect and understanding for anybody that's, building stuff like iOS, iPads. Oh, Doug Jarvie just had a suggestion in the chat. Or had a question. How many superheroes wear a mask?
I have no idea.
I mean, like in general, I wonder. There's got to be a website for that somewhere. Like 762 superheroes wear a mask, and then you have Clark Kent that just wears glasses. All right, it's gonna do some shading on her hair.
It's interesting because with Superman, his I don't know. You're right. His masks are glasses that he wears. He's Superman. And then he takes them off, and then I'm like, now I'm Superman. I've heard that. I've read something on that, because Superman is the one superhero where, like, he reveals who he really is. As opposed to somebody like Batman hides who he is and becomes Batman, this other person.
Yeah.
Superman reveals who he actually is when he is Superman. It's like, here I am as my true self.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
This is me. I don't know. Superman always... I love comic books and superheroes and all this kind of stuff. And it did always crack me up in some of the movies where you're looking and you're like, come on, you can't tell he's wearing glasses? He's the same person?
I like when they try to disguise their voice.
Yes.
Like Batman.
Yes.
It just drives me nuts. You sound so ridiculous.
Oh. Don't worry, nobody knows.
Yeah, visually, I think Batman's a super interesting character. There's a lot of cool Batman art out there.
There really is.
So all that drama. So.
It's that depth. Yeah, Nikki Cousin says Wonder Woman. That's right.
Yeah, into it. I feel like we've been waiting for Wonder Woman 1984 since like 84.
Since probably. 84.
It seems like forever waiting for that movie to come out.
I do have to say 84 was a little bit ago.
That was a good year.
Yeah.
That was a good time for me.
See, I'm not liking this. I don't know. I want to do some highlights on her hair, but it's not. So we're going to go back to her hair. Because it's not working. So we will return. We'll do some shading here for a little bit instead. And to my brush, stick it with the soft round. forgot. And so, as mentioned earlier, you start drawing and you forget that you're not on the layer you want. I just about did that. You need to create another new layer, drop it in, make a bigger brush, her face.
I think it's,
What you think?
So in Photoshop, in order to group layers, you have to go into like multi-select mode, and then like it's a process.
Yes.
As opposed to like Fresco, which is a drag and drop. I don't know which one you prefer.
I actually do prefer how Fresco works with layers. I can get a little bit, I don't know, for both of them, I think maybe there's a little bit of room for improvement still, especially when you're working with all these different types of layers.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, this is something maybe somebody that's watching knows. I do want that ability to multi-select layers, and I'm not sure if I missed that magical combination of pressing, but I haven't been able to figure that one out.
Yeah, it's in, try the flyout menu, the 3 dots.
Let's see. Thank
begin
you, Paul.
Multi-select mode.
Yes, begin multi-select mode. That seems like the perfect place to find something like that. Good thinking, Adobe.
No, you're good. Oh, here's another maybe another pro tip, or not really pro tip, but do on the plus sign up there, do a long press on that plus sign. Like you gotta.
So we can do a new.
That's yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that stuff's kind of hidden just because it's a long press.
And that's right. I actually did that by accident at one point, and that's how I knew it was there. So now I'm kind of curious. Okay. I think that's the only one we get a long press on. Yeah. And you know what? Actually, that's how we know it's there. If you look at this icon right next to the plus, there's a little triangle next to the side. And that's kind of one of our Adobe cheats to let everybody know there's more to it. Because if you go on the left-hand side, still, on your selection, you get pop-out options. That's how you get your brushes. Same with the eraser. You have your brush options. For paint bucket, that's where you get your paint bucket gradient. So always keep an eye out, I think, in Adobe programs for the little triangle. It tells you if there's more to it. Also, hi, Mustafa. All right, so back to some more shading in here. Your neck a little bit. And then back here. With my brush, I'm just doing some more layers. And I need to always make sure I'm on the layer I want to be, which isn't always the case. All right. So they both have, a little bit of dimension now to them, which I like. Like stuff that pops a little bit. And now I'm trying to think what I want to do next. I feel like I do still need my.
I don't know. Would you ever, because it's almost at a good stopping point or something. Sometimes, I don't know if you ever work on the same file the whole time or duplicate the file or what. I don't know if you.
I do duplicate often. And you know what? I think I want to do that right now with this one. Since you brought it up,
pretty good. And I often I'm like, I would mess it up at this point. That's what I'm saying. I would mess it up. So I'd duplicate the file. And then you have just that freedom of I can mess with it.
Right? No, and that's actually why I do it. So anybody that's new to Photoshop, in your upper left-hand corner, you have a little icon that looks like a house. And that is your home button. And I just realized we've been starting right in the program. So this is, the Photoshop home screen. If you look at your left, it has your home. We're not going to go there because you're going to see 5 billion files. There also is a learn option, which is really cool. So everybody thinks that this is out of their range for learning. there are so many tutorials available that gives you, the basics of how to do things. And there's actually assets in a few of them. So you can go in there and it walks you through it. So it's a pretty cool way to learn. And then it has, your work, where it has your cloud documents, because everything on Photoshop on the iPad can sync to your cloud. It's amazing. That's how you open it up in the desktop. And then all the way at the bottom, you also have create new and import. But that all being said, I'm going to come back to my Adobe Live day 2. You can actually see to the right, I have a couple other versions that I had been thinking about playing with today, and I switched that. But so right here, I'm going to click on the ellipses, the 3 dots, and I'm going to duplicate my file. So now I have that other file there. I can go back in, I can play, I can change. If I get to some point where I'm like, ooh, that was not a good choice, I wish I had stuck where I was at. Well, now I have my duplicate file that I can jump back in there. So I'm going to go back into my file. Here we are. I think we're going to see if I can get I'm going to jump back into Adobe Stock for a second. And I tried to be prepared for you guys, because sometimes it takes a lot of internet juice to get everything to flow into the app, and we're using a bit right now. So I'm just going to pull up a cancer awareness ribbon and just use it kind of for reference, because I want to make sure I'm folding it the right way. Which, I don't know, if everybody's willing to be patient, maybe I'll see if I can get it to open up easily for me, and that way we can just put one.
If you need me to switch or anything to like a schedule or whatever.
Yeah, actually, would you give me a second for a schedule?
Certainly.
Thank you.
All right, and of course the big thing is, actually let me just, here's obviously the schedule. We have you for 45 more minutes. And then Daily Creative Challenge for 30 minutes, a big block segment on video editing, which is nice this afternoon. And then Jesse's 30 minutes XD, and then Design in the Dark. So again, full day. I also, and while you do that, I'm just
I'll let you know when I'm back with you.
Just to kind of switch over 2 things. So Jess was just showing the documents, the cloud documents, which are also available like on your desktop. So these same files are right in there. And another thing I was going to show is that same file, like if Jess wanted to, you can go to assets.adobe.com, cloud documents. Here's all of my files as well. So you can see all these like hands that I've been working on lately, just doing, I'm really into tattoo. Like I don't have a tattoo, but I'm like, I love tattoo art. I mainly like flowers, so I don't know.
You need to go get one.
No, it's okay. I'm good.
All right,
you good?
Not yet. It's
okay, you're fine.
I think the one I selected. Yeah, no, I think it's just, I managed to take one that was an AI file. And so I'm seeing if I can kind of work around.
I wonder if you can. Yeah, I don't know. That's
let me. You know what? All right, guys. I'm just going to use a reference. This is just one of those moments where technology doesn't want to work with me, and you have those days. So
you are good.
We're just going to reference. So if you want to, hello again. So this is for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but they all the cancer awareness ribbons kind of fold in the same way. As you can see, I did license this, so it is in my library. I think I personally made that error and chose the wrong type of file, but hey, that's okay. Fine. If
you've already purchased it, because you obviously already licensed it, you could do whatever you want. Like if you wanted to
Yep.
do a screenshot of it or swipe between or whatever.
Brilliant. Yes.
And again, people, she already bought this file.
Yeah.
We just don't have it in raster format.
Which, you know, we're good. I'm kind of doing that mental thing. I'm like, all right, we're going to fold it that way. That's good because it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just going to jump back into Photoshop. Can I also say I've also had an iPad for, you know, over a year, and it took me way too long to realize I could do the 4-finger swipe. And if you have more than one program open, it will swipe you between the programs.
Oh, that's something I never use.
I never have it. It's recent. Yeah, 4-finger swipe. And if you have like Photoshop, Safari open,
Here's another thing that you can do, just another tip on the iPad, is you can put those two apps side by side.
Yes, the split screen view.
I literally
we should utilize that right now. Oh no, that's actually, yep, nope, it will. That's perfect. That's exactly how we utilize that right now. And that way I still have my reference, which is right there. Perfect. See, it's these things we know how to do and we kind of forget about them in the moment. That way I can come in here. So we're back in here. I'm going to make another layer because I want to do my ribbon awareness. And I'm going to go to my brushes on the left. We're going to go back to the hard round brush because I want to kind of keep this like a solid shape. I want those very kind of crisp lines. Obviously not that big. Don't want that big. And I think I want to do a nice bright yellow. The foundation I volunteered with for years is called Sunshine Kids. So I always kind of go to that bright yellow color that makes me think of everything. And I accidentally hit undo and got rid of my layer. There we go, got it back. And we're gonna draw out, and yeah, I'm drawing over this right now, but that's okay. And I think I'm actually gonna draw this in a couple pieces. That way I can do that shading on that. So that's gonna be my top ribbon. Then I'm gonna make another layer. And technically, I feel like this would have 3 layers to do all the shading, but we're just going to do 2. Come over here to our other side. And there is my flat ribbon. And you know what's coming next is I'm going to need to eventually move this. So I'm going to have to actually execute the multi-layer select, since now I know where it is. But we're going to come in here and do a little bit of shading on this again with our soft round brush. And do a little bit darker of a color. I like bright colors, so I always have a hard time shading with like yellows and such. So I want it to be bold. Try right there. I'm not sure I feel about that color for shading, but we'll check it out. And nope. Lessen that opacity. Okay. All right. Yeah. This should help it pop some more. And give it a little bit of dimension. Bigger brush. Okay.
I like it.
Thank you.
I like it.
Let's give it, a little bit of pop. Oops, might need to fix that up there. Get some more of that fold. Let's do over here. More shade on it. Oh, it's like, why doesn't this look right? Because I forgot to do my layer above it. There we go. I just want to give it like, a little bit of dimension so it looks like it's popping some.
Yeah.
Not perfect, but We'll do a little bit more yellow. I think that's my problem. I need a little bit more of this to come back on it. I mean, this is one of those things too. I feel like I could sit here for a long time and be like, let's make this look real until there's 5 million layers of colors.
That looks good. Well, one thing I'd like to see in Photoshop on the iPad is locking transparency.
Yes.
Because then you could just, maybe you don't want to do 2 layers or a clipping mask, you just lock transparency
and go
paint the shadow.
That would be.
So that is available in Fresco, but not iPad.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna just make it pop a little bit more with a lighter highlight. Doing the choo-choo noises again. I've realized through the last 2 days that's like my go-to drawing noise. I go like choo-choo.
Choo-choo noises.
Right? Yeah, that's my creative noise. Yep. Things I learned this week. All right. So, all right. Now we're going to check out that multi-layer select thing I've been sleeping on. And also I'm going to get rid of that Safari window. So I have my full spiel again. Ooh, that's fun. We just had a nice little, I tricked the program. Let me get out of there for a second. Okay. Begin, select. Oh, that is just exactly what I was looking. So for what I was doing, I went into the 3 ellipses, the 3 dots, and I clicked on begin select multi-select mode. And reverb mic, yes, pew pew pew. Noise effects. But so once I hit that, if you look on the panel, the layers panel, we can check everything we want to check. And then, so they're all selected. And you guys are learning this with me because this is the first time I've used this feature. I should be able to hit my arrow. Yep. Oh, no. Didn't work. That's what happens sometimes. I want to move all of those items together. When I went to move them.
Now,
I think, yeah.
You could put them in a folder.
Nope, it worked that way. I got it.
Okay.
I just did it the wrong way.
And from here, if you wanted to, you could put it in a folder because there's that folder icon.
Oh, there is. See, learning things. So, yeah, we're just going to put those all together. We did the folder icon. And that way, because I kind of want to reshape this a little bit. And, ooh, yeah. Okay, guys. I think we're going to leave it on that S. And this is where we're going to jump in. We're going to do another one, actually. I want more than one. I'm going to do 2. So we're going to duplicate this group so I have a second one. I want to put this one off of this, and I'm going to hang them off of both of the S's. So this one we're going to turn that way a little bit, make this one a little smaller. And so what I'm going to do now is I want to do a mask. So I came over here, I hit the mask icon, and if you look at your layers panel at the upper right hand corner, it'll show my group, but I can also slide over to the left and it'll give me my mask. I want to use a mask because I kind of want to make it look like it's hanging off the S. So for anybody that's not familiar with your masks and working with this, I actually always get it backwards, but hold on. So, all right, just wanted to make sure before I spoke. So when you're working with masks, you actually use the brush tools. And the top color, black and white, the black is what kind of hides what you're working on. Let me make my brush much smaller. So I'm kind of erasing that part of my ribbon for the view. And what's cool about using masks is if you change your mind about it, all I have to do is go back here, switch it to the white brush, and I can paint it all back in. So, huge fan of masks. And I think after years of using masks, I kind of like the simplicity of them within Photoshop on iPad. I feel like it's pretty quick. So I'm gonna go back here and I wanna do this to my lower ribbon as well. So once again, on the right-hand panel, underneath the plus sign to make a new layer, there's a circle and a box. That's your mask. And it automatically switches it over for you. So on your layer, you can see you're there. And for this one, I'm just gonna take out this part right here. So I need a smaller brush. Nope. Also, if you adjust the opacity for these, you can it's another way to kind of like blend the look, but I don't want to do that right now. I just want a solid line on it. Okay.
All right, let us know, Jennifer, if you have a question. You said wait a minute. You could just press, if you want us to wait a minute, you could also just hit pause, because that's an option. Because it might have been one of those like eureka moments though. Who knows? I'm curious though. Now I am waiting a minute. I want to know. All right. So I have this. So you know what? I'm just going to do a little bit of shading, I feel like, to my lettering. So it kind of matches the feel to everything else. We've got a tiny bit of, but I think I'm going to kind of do a little bit of blue for the shading. So it kind of complements that sky. I just love the sunset in this photo. Just like that hint of color and that bright blue. I love blue. Everything should be the color blue. Not really, because it'd get boring, but. All right, so I'm gonna come back down here to my letterings. And I'm gonna use my eyedrop tool, not that. Use my eyedrop tool and kind of see what blue we're dealing with here. And a little bit darker. That. And just because I've been using the other two, I feel like I need to, I'm gonna do just do the soft round. There's a lot of fun brushes in there that
they really are.
I haven't really played with.
I get stuck on like the ones I like. And then I always go back and I'm like, oh, there are all these other choices too. Maybe I can play with that.
In a couple minutes, we'll kind of review some designs.
Yay! I'm excited to see what everybody made. Changed my mind. I wanted the watercolor one. Sure. Yep. Okay. Nope. What are you doing here?
It's looking good.
Thank you.
Let us know if you guys have any questions or anything. We have you for 30 more minutes. We'll review the Daily Creative Challenge submissions in a moment. I'm sure you're going to be playing with that for a while.
Yes, I am. This is like that final part where I'm like, what is the best way? Ooh, that's kind of a watercolor brush. In Photoshop. It's quite an interesting texture. That's why actually for a second I was going, am I doing something wrong? Is this brush not working? But it actually kind of layers up for you. Interesting. I could probably spend the rest of forever in design apps and still be like, wow, You can do that too.
All right. It's endless. We have like endless content to cover. Pretty much.
So,
But yeah, that's looking good. I'll let you. That's awesome. Looking great.
Awesome.
I was gonna switch over to my screen and
perfect.
take a look at some of these
Yeah, let's check out what everybody made.
designs if that works
Yeah.
for you. And I'll just share my screen
Perfect.
as I'm stalling. Can you tell?
I could do a drum roll or a countdown. Like, what do we need?
Oh, you're good. I need to kind of reposition things so everybody can
see everything.
Yeah. All right.
So Cody Bear had asked, are Kyle Webster's brushes compatible with iPad Photoshop? They are not currently in Photoshop, but I believe it's on.
We know it's a popular request.
Yes.
So, and we want to make people happy. So that's the thing.
Completely.
All right. Zoop.
Yay.
There we go. All right, so we'll dive
made.
into this daily creative challenge. You can see this page right here, and we have two things that have been happening in the past couple days. So dramatic landscapes, and then like a vector and a raster, where you're kind of making a passport page or passport cover.
Yes.
So anyways, there's the link. It's also, if you go to basically the challenge tab, it will ask you to upload to Discord, which is right here. So here's our lovely Discord where we will kind of review things. So this will be fun. And I'll just kind of start at the bottom and work our way up. And if you do want to see the actual file, so you have this starter file that has some images in it. So this is kind of what I made earlier today. There was like this one and this, and then I started working on this one.
Which is why we talked about Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's how we ended up on the Harry Potter subject. But just to give you an idea of like where the assets come from, because now you can see right in here,
I like it.
There we go. This is fun. This is fun playing with this depth right there.
Yeah, how it peeks out.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's super smart. Into it. Take this another. I would say for this, you could take it to the next level if you wanted to, since there's already a glow on these items. What if you did a splash of green actually on the crow, just for fun? Like it's emitting this light onto the crow to really sell it as this flat object being in a 3D world.
I like it.
Awesome. I was like, hey, go ahead and do a page for where you're from or a place you want to go. So there's some of these. This is exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. This is what you want people to do, is just jump in and play around.
Yes.
You could tell immediately this person did a great job with color. Like you get color, you know, you don't pick a color just to decorate a page. You pick a color for a reason. And that's why I'm most proud of this, just working together as a complete unit.
I loved how the font color complements it.
Right?
So beautifully. Like right there at that sunset, it just kind of brings it all in. It still feels expansive.
Yeah. Another thing you could try is use this as a clipping mask. Use the background as a clipping mask on that text, and the sky could actually be in there. Sorry, let me call out this person's name. Black Becky. Like Blackberry, Black Becky. Nice. Blend mode. Paris. Nice. And I usually don't like script or like marker fonts, but I'm kind of into this font right here. What do you think, Jess?
I like it.
It's kind of fun, right? It's like, it's playful without being too much like a marker.
Exactly. It seems like a I'm trying to think the best way to put this. A way better looking, cleaner, modern version of marker felt.
Yeah.
Like it has that subliminal feeling to that font.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I like it. Black Becky, you did a great job. Loving all these.
Yes.
Ooh, this is fun. H. Johnny. put that right on.
I like
passport
that.
cover. So that's fun playing with blend modes and things.
I feel, there's a nice texture going on with all of that.
Yeah. The gold is nice. Hey, it's Johnny. Good job. Jen. Okay, so this yesterday was all about doing like dramatic landscapes. So just basically doing some HDR toning.
Nice.
So this looks really good. I would love to see the before picture, because I bet you a lot of this was like cast in shadow and stuff. Like, I don't know if it was this vibrant, but this is such a good image to do an HDR toning on, because you're going to have all these details that pop out.
I want to go there and like sit for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it looks like the perfect place.
Needs a hammock.
Ooh, yes, and good Wi-Fi.
This is like a perfect spot for like a hammock. We'll go right here between those.
Right? Yeah. That seems
good job,
nice.
Jen.
Yes, Jen.
John. Oh, this is fun. Yeah. Into it.
Ooh.
Adding
like the
some
music.
notes. Yeah. Perfect. You're doing exactly what you need to into it. Okay, so here we go. This is this is the original.
Okay.
Oh wait, that one is just a weird link. Yeah, this gets a little vibrant, but again, this is all about playing around. Like, look at how much you could push that. Look at how electric that looks. Everything has an electrical charge
right?
to it.
It's there. It's there.
But that's fun.
Yes, I like it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so Sig did lots of things with this.
Ooh.
Camera Raw. You worked with Camera Raw and applied a Halloween Camera Raw preset. But here's and I'll show you the second one. So the second one will take all that color away. And this is the Halloween one, which it's fun that it turned the flowers white.
Yeah. I feel like that should be a puzzle. I like puzzles. I would do a puzzle like that.
Yeah, so Jacqueline, both images should be in there. I downloaded it, and all 3 layers were in there. But yeah, these are a great job. I love this. This is great. This was the original, so good job. The original photo of Bob, like this one, actually, you did a good job of taking this photo, by the way. I just would like to point that out. Jay? Oh, that's fun.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody ever watched the Hunger Game movies, but I have a Hunger Game kind of vibe from that, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I think subtlety, things that look a little like really elegant when you add a little bit of subtlety and not so in your face. Like, that's what I think of this gradient.
Yeah.
It's a really subtle gradient. If you would have pushed it further, it would have looked ugly, in my opinion. You know, it would
I like how I did that.
It would have cheapened it, but this is like super subtle gradient.
I feel it was a nice reflection. It complemented that color change in the photo too. You kind of naturally have that gradient of light to dark coming forward, so I feel like it kind of complemented that really well. Yeah,
I agree, and it's a warm tone on the cool blue, so
yeah,
it's good. I believe this is fun. Everybody really liked cutting out the crow. I think
it's a fun image.
Yeah, it is so cool. So, yeah, it's fun. This is set with a blend mode, so that's cool. Like vector, yeah, that's cool.
I like it.
Day 2, dog and cat. Oh, that's great. This is my favorite one so far.
Oh, I love it. I love that. Is that font or is that their actual handwriting? I'm a huge fan.
Yes. Fairy? Oh, Fairy I think went to bed. But Fairy did a great job. Like, if this, you're right, if this is hand lettering, if it's a, this is tough to find that. I don't know if that's a font. I don't know. That's a tough one.
I think it could possibly be her handwriting. I'm curious. Yeah. Like, I like it.
Yeah, so do I. Okay, so here's Sig. So let's do before, HDR, and then after.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's just it's like the easy button in Photoshop.
Okay.
You know. And just so you know how this is done, Jess, since I know you weren't. Well, I
caught a little bit of yours yesterday. Yeah, just a tiny bit, and some of it today. I was trying to, make sure I wasn't freaking out and anxious.
Yeah, no, you're good. But I would just do it. If you ever finish a design, you could try copy merged. So I copied this final design. I'll paste in a new file because when you go in here and do HDR toning, it's going to ask you to flatten it.
Okay.
Right. So I usually do it in a separate file, and then I play with HDR toning, do like a Scott 5, and we can see it actually kind of tore up a lot of that, but the crow looks pretty good. Let's go into surrealistic. Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna have to play with that. Yeah.
Look at how intense that looks. So, anyways.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you showed me that. I'm gonna have to play with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually try this like as a way to just produce different ideas, and then I'll usually paste that back into my original and blend it. But anyway.
I actually feel like that would be really interesting to see how that would work with illustrations.
Yeah.
Like especially a final illustration.
If you have anything with like a lot of detail or gradation and stuff like that would be fun.
I'm gonna make myself a note.
Oh yeah. All right, Jacqueline. Here's a image from British Columbia.
If my mom's watching right now, she loves that. She loves lighthouses.
Yeah. It's almost too clean. It almost looks fake. To be honest with you, doesn't it look like it's almost an illustration?
I feel like it's so like lit up on that side that it gives that feeling, like, because you see the sunset behind. So I'm curious if that's editing. The light was edited.
Yeah, good question. I do not know. This is what I'm talking about. This is perfect. P40. Okay, good. These are the perfect images to do like an HDR thing with.
Okay.
Look at this. Like, this looks exactly like what it looked like that day, right?
Yeah.
But then of course, actually, let's take like this one.
Yeah, it's probably a better example.
Here's the before.
Which is beautiful.
It looks great. And then here's like the after. Like, look at that. Like how
just pops.
Electric.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
They are.
I want to start singing a musical looking at that.
Such a beautiful color. Oh yeah, here's the before. Sorry about that. Here's the before. Here's the after. Right. So look at the golds and stuff that pop out. So anyway, that's neat.
I like it. Yeah, I like how it makes everything come to light.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. All right, but now everybody knows how to do this HDR look. They'll start seeing it everywhere. Like you'll know when somebody did a high dynamic range process on an image or images. But this looks cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So yeah, anything like this with all this detail, this is cool to do. HDR with, but yeah.
I'm realizing now I've seen a lot more of this, and I just didn't know how to have that effect come through. But I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I do too. And it's not meant for everything, but it's fun to play with. Even when it's not your image. Hopefully this is okay. Boop, boop, boop. We're going to switch back over to you, Jess, whenever you're...
Sounds good.
But like here, it's just like, look what it does with that sky back there, the clouds.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to be exploring this, definitely. I have a couple things in the back of my mind. And I really do want to try and see how this would work with some illustrations. Like, I'm going to have to play with it.
Yep.
I like it.
It's cool. So everybody did a great job. Sorry I didn't review all of them. We've reviewed plenty of them. We can keep scrolling, but you get the idea.
As I say, find one more, like, good one.
This one's cool because two things happened here. So yesterday was about doing a panorama, because Photoshop will allow you to stitch images together. You have to do nothing. It'll just stitch them together. So Stephanie did the stitching, or let Photoshop do the stitching, which is just very drab and boring. And then the HDR toning with that as well, just like, punches it up. And you could push this even further and further. I love the idea of taking the most boring scene ever of like a parking lot and making it look amazing.
Making it look magical. I think that's why I like it. It just brings so much color into things, and give me all the colors. Like, make everything bright and vibrant. Yeah.
For sure. For this one, just really fast, and not to...
Oh no, we're fine.
But like, this may or may not be curved. Like when you get to stitching the images together, it will do any lens distortion corrections.
Oh.
Just FYI. But
very nice.
Just go with the auto setting, and then it will determine. But yeah, you get the idea. All right.
Awesome. I loved it. Everybody did amazing.
Everybody did.
I'm gonna have to go on. I think I'm part of that Discord. If I'm not, I'm gonna join it because I want to go check everything out that's on there later on.
Yes.
So I gotta be honest with all you. Like, I kind of did the opposite. I think yesterday I had way too much going on, and then I kind of worried, and I was like, I didn't want to finish again. I think today was like, I'm glad we took that time reviewing everything, because I just have a couple more little touches I'm gonna do for this one, and this one we're gonna go with it because I kind of just like the simplicity, and there's so many people that are dealing with this in their lives, and they that's my message. Awareness for childhood cancer. So just to do a couple little more touches, because I love that background image, but I keep telling I like a little bit of texture on everything. So I was sitting here and I was thinking we might just do a little bit of a spatter texture, and just to give it a little bit of kind of grain going on over the photo. So not that much. I do want to make that brush big. I think we're going to drop down the opacity because I just want a little bit something else. Like, there we go. Let's see. Need more opacity. Need to find the right opacity angle. What's going on here? All right, there you are.
Okay, so cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think my head's in the way for something.
No worries. No, actually, it was one of those moments where I'm like, I'm pressing down. Please react to me. I just want to give it a little bit of texture behind them. And I did think about shading on this one. I don't want to shade this one for the lettering. I want it to just be bright superheroes, but I do think I might do a very, very, very subtle. If I can do that what I want to. Very subtle shadow. So I went and chose the soft round brush. And they're still too dark. A little bit bigger. A little lower opacity. Just just want to do a couple little.
Yeah, give it a little bit of depth.
Little bit of depth. I don't want this one to look like it's jumping through the universe, but I want it to look like it's standing out just a tiny bit on bigger weights. And I'm just going to go through really quickly. For this one, I feel like with how all the other shading and everything is done, I just don't want to shade those letterings today. Like, want to keep them bold and in your face. So everyone can remember, heroes come in all sizes. Yeah, for that one we'll leave. There was one other thing I did want to do for the blue shirt. I realized I kind of want to pull more of the color from this blue. I don't want to make it completely overwhelmed, but I want to have it complement it a bit more on her shirt. So I go back over here and make the brush really big. Drop the opacity a little bit and just kind of blend that one a little bit more in like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the splatters,
So, yeah.
like the texture in the background's nice.
Yeah, thank you. I think I'm
Shading.
going to do a little bit more splatter on top of the splatter real quick. I like that it's there, but it's a little bit too much. So I just kind of went over the soft round brush and zone that out a bit. Ooh, that is one thing I didn't like. I don't like how this part with the E and the S is cutting right against the photo. So I'm going to see if I can actually move my background over a little bit. So that's right at the edge, but cool. I'm going to resize it just a tiny bit more because I'm trying to have it so that the line of the horizon goes right between those portions. Which actually, I want to move you over a little bit. Right there.
I like that. I like how that line is, like, obviously it's at an angle, and it just makes it more interesting than if it was straight.
Yeah, that's probably why I like that photo. So yeah, I feel pretty good about this one. Like,
I'm feeling pretty good about it too. Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I'm kind of liking this. This is, and I said I like doing stuff in different styles. I feel like this is a different style than a lot of the stuff I've done. It has a little bit of a different feel. The only thing I'm looking at that I don't like is I want to go back and just clean up my lettering lines. This is right where I started off, and I can see how shaky the lines are, and that was honestly partly because I was nervous. So I was sitting there, kind of going, just smooth it out a little bit. But other than that, like, I feel really good about how this turned out. I mean, I don't know what you guys think.
I'm into it. I like it. I think a big thing is knowing when to stop and
yes,
the editing
so
process.
hard, right? So yeah, I think we're gonna do like the hardest lesson ever. I am stopping with minutes on the clock, and this is
that's great.
This is my superheroes come in all sizes. I think I might end up rolling with this and do a couple more with the illustrations, and I'm glad I didn't do faces. I'm glad I kept it simple. Yeah. Thank you everybody for drawing with me today. Nikki Cousins, thank you. Nikki Cousins says, thank you so much for all the tips. Nikki, thank you for being here.
That's awesome. Looking good. I was just playing around with all the brushes.
Right. Sorry. No, somebody actually connected with through a different Adobe Live Behance chat like a bit ago. She joined us for part of ours yesterday, and we were talking about the Adobe Fresco live brushes. And she said that after she had watched the live stream, she went and played with the watercolor brushes for a while.
Oh, good.
It's like, it was so relaxing. I'm like, yes, it's my favorite.
Oh, nice.
Like,
well, you promised you're going to post this, right? You're going to put
yes,
this somewhere or something?
This will go on Behance, and then I will probably put both of them on my Instagram, but it's definitely, I'm going to do a separate project on my Behance portfolio, and I'll have that up by tonight at the latest.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We can't wait to see. I'm glad people can connect with you. Just click the info tab. And find you on Behance and what you post there. Thank you for posting yesterday's illustration too, which was fun to see.
Of course. Thank you.
So this was awesome.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure hosting you.
It's been a pleasure being your guest.
Taking time out of your schedule.
Thank you.
Hanging out with us and everybody in chat, Mike and Paloma and everyone. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay, then we're down to our last 15 seconds. Jess, we appreciate you. Thank you, everybody. Stick around. I'm going to leave you with the schedule.
Thank you.
And yeah, keep it positive, as you would say, right, Jess?
Yep.
Keep it positive.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you, guys.